Hey everyone, I'm Sangwook Lee, a master student at KAIST. I'm super excited to talk about our study, ModSandbox, which makes online community moderation a lot easier by predicting errors and improving automated rules. I worked on this project with my awesome collaborators, Jisoo, Jisoo Lee, Mina Kim, and our advisor, Juho Kim. So, we all know there are tons of online communities on platforms like Reddit, Facebook, and Discord. These communities are managed by some really dedicated volunteers users called moderators. Their job is to keep things in check by enforcing the community rules and making sure everyone has a good time. Moderators often use moderation bots to automate some of their work. These bots contain a rule-based tool to detect content based on certain conditions. The rule-based tool can filter stuff based on keywords, account ages, and user reports. Many moderators are using custom keyword filtering because it can adapt to the unique norms of their communities. We focused on Reddit AutoModerator, which is a default rule-based moderation tool on Reddit, and is responsible for about 60% of content removals on Reddit. But before we dive into our study, let's quickly go over the types of errors in rule-based moderation tools. Sometimes the bots don't quite match what the human moderator intended. This means that some posts that should be allowed are wrongly filtered, which are called false positives, while other posts that should be filtered are mistakenly allowed, which are called false negatives. These errors can hurt the community and create more work for moderators to fix them. Back to our study, we interviewed 5 AutoModerator users who are subreddit moderators to learn about their practices and challenges with Reddit AutoModerator. We found their configuration process has an iteration between error identification and rule updates. Also, we identified 4 challenges: inability to predict rule impacts beforehand, difficulty in detecting false positives, struggles in determining rule updates, and identifying problematic rule components. We aim to design a system for moderators to support the configuration process of rule-based moderation tools based on 4 challenges from our expert interview. ModSandbox is a novel virtual sandbox system designed to test automated rules using posts imported from real-world communities. Additionally, it processes the simulated result to have moderators detect potential false positives and negatives, and identify which part of the rule is causing issues. First, a sandbox environment enables moderators to test their automated rules before deploying them in the community. They can import posts, write rules, and check the expected result without impacting the real-world community. Second, ModSandbox introduces a new sorting method for false positives and negatives called FBFN recommendation. When users enable the FBFN recommendation feature, ModSandbox sorts posts to quickly identify potential false positives and negatives. The basic idea is quite simple. If filtered posts are semantically distant from the target post, meaning the rule is filtering posts that are not closely related to our target, they are likely false positives. Conversely, if a non-filtered post is semantically close to target post, it is likely a false negative. We utilize a machine learning-based sentence embedding model, the Universal Sentence Encoder, to calculate the semantic similarity between each post and target post. Once users find the false positives and negatives among the recommended posts, they can store those posts in collections, which can be referenced for them to determine the rule updates. For example, if current rules filter posts to avoid being filtered, they will try to update the rules to ignore those posts. Or they can read the posts that should be filtered to find patterns to add to the rules. Additionally, our FBFN recommendation feature uses the post in the false negative collection as target posts that represent the moderator's intention. Lastly, the rule analysis feature helps identify problematic rule components by visualizing how each component is related to the post in ModSandbox. The hierarchical analysis panel displays the number of filtered posts in the sandbox and collections. When the user hovers over highlighted words, it shows which rules were involved in filtering, making it easier to identify and resolve issues. To evaluate ModSandbox, we conducted a between-subject study with 20 online community moderators, comprising both experienced AutoModerator users and novice users. The experimental group used a baseline system first, and then our ModSandbox, while the control group used the baseline system for both trials. The control group was set up in this manner because participants might improve the rules simply by being given a second chance. We provided posts from the CS Career Question subreddit and assigned 2 main tasks: writing keyword filtering rules to detect computer science relevant job without degrees posts, and posts with COVID-19 related keywords. First, we sought to confirm that our sorting method, FBFN recommendation, is more effective than default sorting methods for helping moderators find false positives and negatives among the posts. To achieve this, we labeled posts used in our user study for task A and B and sorted them using our FBFN recommendation, as well as by newest and highest posts, which are referred to as new and top. Our recommendation algorithm tends to display posts labeled for each task at the top. Additionally, its performance was better in task A, which involved detecting contextually similar posts. Participants were able to create more sophisticated filtering rules with ModSandbox compared to the baseline system. They tended to use more keywords and rules to capture a greater number of posts related to their task objectives. Additionally, they combined extra whitelist and blacklist keywords to fine-tune each rule. We evaluated the effectiveness of the baseline and ModSandbox system by comparing the characteristics of the post filtered by the final rules submitted from each system. Comparing the number of filtered posts, the control group using the base system again showed little or no rule change during the second chance. 2 participants changed their rules, but ended up creating rules that captured too many posts. However, the experimental group was able to better control the filtering by reducing or expanding their rules. This demonstrates that the features provided by ModSandbox helped participants properly understand and improve the effectiveness of their rules. We then compared the change in average semantic similarity between filtered posts and target posts. The increased similarity between filtered and target posts during the second chance indicates that users successfully refined their rules to better capture posts relevant to the task. In the control group, only 1 participant showed an increase in semantic similarity, while 8 participants using ModSandbox showed this improvement. We observed that ModSandbox helped participants to iteratively and systematically update their AutoModerator rules, allowing them to identify errors, collect them, and debug rules more effectively. Participants loved the FBFN recommendation feature, but some were concerned about its accuracy. The automated rule analysis was useful for complex rules, and FBFN collection was more helpful for experienced users, but novice moderators found it a bit trickier to apply to rule updates. We think there are several ways to make ModSandbox even better. It could use more diverse data from similar communities or generated by large language models. It could also use an improved embedding model to find false positives and negatives, and offer better rule update support like rule recommendations and templates. Plus, while current algorithmic tools are accessible to only a few moderators who are familiar with the technology, ModSandbox can help non-tech-savvy moderators become more involved in the configuration process, and it has the potential to support distributed algorithmic moderation among moderators and community users, promoting transparency and collaboration. In conclusion, ModSandbox is a helpful tool for online community moderators, making it easier to improve automated content moderation and enabling a structure to the rule setup and revision process. It also opens up opportunities for collaboration among moderators and community users.